So I just got back from a weekend trip to Paris, which was so much fun. I went with two of my oldest friends who I've known for 30 years, and it was just brilliant. I'm so grateful that I get to do things like that, and I particularly love Paris as a city. But it occurred to me whilst I was there that this was the kind of trip that I used to think I would never be able to do sober. Before I stopped drinking, and actually after I quit for a while, I thought I had said goodbye to trips away with girlfriends because I just couldn't imagine not drinking during them. And for such a long time, I could not picture going to France and being sober. Like, how could you go to Paris, which is so glamorous and elegant, and then not have wine or cocktails or a Kir Royale? If you are struggling with this too, struggling to imagine it, I want to say a couple of things. First, I must reassure you that you can have an amazing trip alcohol-free. At the end of the day, all we're actually talking about here is putting a different liquid in your glass. And sometimes it's just really good to remember that. It's that simple when we are making it such a big deal. You still get to have everything else about that experience. In fact, you actually get to have more because alcohol isn't stealing from you. This trip to Paris was very short. It really was just a weekend. And I know that if I'd been drinking, alcohol would just have deleted hours from it. And I'm not only talking about the time I would have lost drinking or recovering from drinking, you know, getting up late, all the rest of it, but also the time thinking about drinking and structuring your trip around that and choosing to miss out on certain places and activities because you've got to make sure there's enough time for drinking and there's somewhere to drink. If you've got a trip like this coming up and you are struggling with this, you're wishing you could drink, then I really recommend you spend some time thinking about what the point of the trip is. Like, what is it really about? Why are you going there? No trip is ever just about drinking alcohol. If that's all it was about, then you wouldn't leave home. You know, you just stay there where it's much easier and cheaper to get a drug like alcohol into your system. For me personally, this trip to Paris was about spending time with two friends who I don't get to see that often anymore because, you know, we've got busy lives and we don't live near each other. It was also about exploring Paris as a tourist for the first time in years. It was about celebrating the fact that I've got quite a big birthday coming up soon. It was about eating ice creams and getting croissants from a proper French bakery. It was just about so much more than some liquid in my glass. I was thinking about that Netflix show, Emily in Paris, where the main character always looks immaculate and goes everywhere in heels, doesn't she? Well, whilst I was in Paris, I wore flat, comfy shoes that I could actually walk in. Because most of us know it's totally unrealistic to wear high heels on those cobbled streets. In fact, the actress who plays Emily in Paris, she's spoken about how much pain she was in wearing the heels while she was filming. And yet, when it comes to the drinking scenes in that show, most people won't question it. But I do, because I think the drinking that we see on Emily in Paris and so many other shows is so fake. Showing people using an addictive drug like alcohol with ease and glamour and never having a hangover or any regrets. It is the same as pretending you can walk around Paris in stilettos all day. It's just fiction. So that's my rant over. But I felt inspired to record this video because just before I went to Paris, I found this old picture of me from 20 years ago visiting Paris during another trip. And back then, I wasn't much of a drinker, but the stage was set for it. I thought alcohol was cool and it helped me be cool. And when this photo was taken, I was just about to go to uni, which is where I really learned how to drink. And part of me just wishes I could reach through the photo to the past and tell that younger version of me that she was good enough, she was perfect just as she was, and alcohol was not going to be a great friend for her. But as I can't rewind time, and I can't do that, the next best thing I can do is tell you that exact same message. So, that's all I've got for you today. Au revoir. Have a great week.